I thought we were gonna jump into spoilers.
Oh, you're right.
I mean, we could jump into news and just forget about the whole thing, you know?
No. Eternals. Let's talk. So, you guys, for anyone that doesn't know spoilers, as long as you see the red font up top, we're going to be talking about the spoiler subject, which in this case is going to be Eternals. It should be listed at the bottom, Eternals. Yes, Eternals by Marvel.
Marvel's Eternals.
It's funny. I do feel like you might have to put that, you know? So, yeah, we're going to tell you guys a little bit about our experience with Eternals, what we got from it, the things we've uncovered, and, you know, just how we felt about the movie in general.
Did we uncover anything? I don't know.
Dude, it's so much. Yes. If AJ didn't, I did.
Okay.
A lot of things to talk about. All right. So, first off,
the
reviews are bad.
I heard that
the critic
reviews are bad.
Yeah, the audience review is good. It's like an 80, 81.
Yeah, I heard it was like 70, 80s, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. 81's pretty fucking good. So, I hate to make it sound like they're out to get Marvel, but I really feel with this one, because I read some of the reviews, you know, after I saw the movie myself. I feel like people are being assholes about it.
I've heard some shit too, which I kind of agree, but kind of don't agree at the same time. One of the complaints I've heard was like the pacing of the movie, how like you're on present day, then all of a sudden you're like in the past, and they don't really like let you know that right away until you start realizing what's going on.
That's true. I didn't care about that, but you're right. That is a thing.
And that did catch me off like a couple of times. Like, wait, where are we right now? And it's like, oh wait, we had to be in the past right now. Like that did catch me off guard sometimes.
The only reason I didn't care is because it was very obvious once they started talking where we were in the timeline. So I'm like, I find that weird that people complain about that so much. I'm like, you can tell immediately as they start talking, okay, this is this point, you know? Like,
yeah.
But you're right, though. That did definitely like catch me off guard a couple times. Like, oh, where are we? Yeah.
But that's one of the main complaints I heard. That and like the fact that there's a lot of characters that they're trying to introduce, which I think they did okay.
I think they did a good job.
The characters that mattered did shit, and
like,
the ones that didn't really matter didn't do too much.
I mean,
you know?
I felt like considering was there 7 or 8 of them?
There's like 9 or some shit.
Yeah. Dude, considering there's like 8 or 9 of them, like I felt like it was very well fleshed out. Like now I understand the people that didn't like it for some of those reasons, because I'm not gonna lie, the first 20 minutes of the movie, I was kind of like, I don't care about these guys. Like, you know, like there's a moment like where they get attacked in London by the Deviants, and you know they start doing their Eternal shit.
Right.
And I was just like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like, I was kind of worried for Dane Whitman a little bit, you know, like the human, you know, like which we'll talk about him later. Kit Harington, you know, Jon Snow. He knows nothing, you know, so he doesn't know what's going on.
Man, I didn't get to throw that joke around, and I don't fucked up.
And I'll tell you the little Game of Thrones joke. There's only one in there, but I'll bring it up in a minute.
Okay.
But yeah, you know, there was a moment where I felt like they were trying to impress me, you know, by showing them do their Eternal shit. Like, okay, Cersei fucking jumped in.
Oh, that's one thing I wanted to fucking mention. Go ahead, though.
Yeah, Cersei jumped in. Sprite started doing the illusions. Icarus came in and started doing laser beams. And I was like, okay, I see, but I just don't feel as excited as I think you guys want me to be. That's just that I was feeling that in the first 15, 20 minutes.
I feel like they're showing you that, like, hey, look how powerful they could be.
Yeah, and I just didn't.
And how well they work together and shit like that. Like,
yeah,
that's what it was.
And I just didn't care. I was like, I want to care, but I didn't.
Cool.
But I'll tell you, as the movie went on and as things kept happening, and as soon as Kango gets introduced, you know, the Indian character, I was caring all of a sudden, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I start learning more about Cersei.
He had like more personality. Yeah, and then you start learning about Cersei's.
And you're like, okay, now I actually do care about these guys. Now, like, so after 20 minutes, I don't feel like the complaints hold up. But the first 20 minutes, I understand the complaints.
True, I get that. One thing too about like Angelina Jolie's character, I heard some people complaining or like saying like, oh, like she's not that important, like, you know, why they waste her so like that.
No,
but she had a pretty good little arc in there.
Bro,
I think.
She had. I think her role was really good.
I think so too.
And especially it showed you the vulnerability of the Eternals, like, because otherwise, if you didn't have Angelina Jolie's moment there, they would feel fucking invincible.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, okay, so why aren't they solving all the Marvel Universe's problems?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and then when you have the strongest Eternal out of the game because he's taking care of another one, I'm like, okay, this is kind of starting to make sense now, like what's happening here,
yeah,
you know?
Yeah, that was cool. To go back, though, is anybody who doesn't live in California, when that earthquake happened in the beginning, I totally had like trigger moments like, oh shit, is that an actual... Because I don't know if you noticed it, because I saw it in theaters, right? When there's an earthquake in California, you hear a little something, but you kind of ignore it because you're like, I don't know what that is. It doesn't like register right away. Like, oh,
Yeah.
there's about to be an earthquake. You hear like a little rumbling and stuff.
Yeah, it's probably a truck or a
truck passing
plane.
by, something like that, right? You don't think about it right away, but then the ground starts to move, and then you're like, oh wait, oh shit, this is actually happening right now, right? That's exactly what happened in that movie. I heard the rumblings. I was like, I felt the earthquake like trigger vibes a little bit. I was like, huh. And then the fucking shit starts shaking in the thing, and they're not reacting to it right away either. And neither was I. But then I was like, wait a minute, that's an earthquake. And then everything starts shaking.
And the characters start reacting too.
And then they start reacting. It's exactly how it is in California, except we don't go all running and underneath desks or shit. We're just like,
it takes us a little longer.
all right, is it gonna stop?
Is it a bad one, or can I just
should I
ignore it?
worry about it?
That's so funny. That's so true. Like we just kind of waited out for a second. That's true.
But like I never seen an earthquake portrayed so well like that before in a movie though. I think that just tripped me out, like watching it in theaters and having that whole moment. That just I like that moment. That was my favorite moment in the whole movie.
Interesting analysis. I feel you. I'll definitely tell you, man, that speaking of that moment, there was a moment where I was like, you guys are fucking up. Like, the Eternals, like, okay, don't get me wrong. I really like the movie. I like everything about it. But there's moments in the movie where I'm like, you guys are fucking up. They told you not to fucking get involved. And, like, there was a moment where this fucking thing was going to fall on a kid. And Cersei turns it to Sam. I'm like, you're not supposed to do that. I'm like, I know it sucks to watch kids die. Nobody wants to do that. I get it. But I'm like, you're not supposed to do that.
That's
like,
true.
And there's a lot of things that they do that seem to go against their prime directive.
I think that's kind of the whole thing too, though, is that they
keep breaking the rules.
Yeah, they become attached to humans and all that,
and they keep breaking the rules.
And they keep breaking the rules for that reason. Yeah.
And it's true. Fastos did it. A lot of them did it. Yeah, I get it. But you know what's funny? Showing that contrast, even though I don't like that, because I'm like, I feel like if you were at work, that's a write-up. You know, like, I'm just saying. But, you know, let's take that out of the
That's a warning.
Yeah,
you know?
that's like, yeah. They pull you
actually, no, that's like the fifth time you've done it this month. Actually, that's a write-up. Yeah.
Yeah, you come into the office, you know? And
what did we tell you about saving humans?
yeah, like, let them die, damn it. Okay, but, you know, that I can get over that because I feel like they did some of that to show us how Icarus doesn't care. Because Icarus doesn't do anything of the sort.
True.
And even in the movie, there's a moment where he starts learning Mesopotamian, whatever fucking original language they're speaking. He starts learning it, and Cersei's like, "Oh, you're learning the human language." He's like, "Well, I have to learn it if I want to get closer to you. I have to get closer to them if I want to get closer to you."
Yeah.
That said so much to me. You don't give a shit about the humans.
That's true, yeah.
You're in it for Cersei. You're in it for the other Eternals. You only care about your family. You don't give a fuck about this planet. Like, and you just keep seeing it more and more as he doesn't. Even when he reacts to Dane Whitman, you're just like, okay, he doesn't give a shit about this guy. Like he doesn't even see him as a romantic rival. He's just like, I don't like you, and I'm just gonna leave it at that. You know what I mean? Like you're nothing to me. Like
that's true, yeah.
And I find that very telling of Icarus, and I actually like that. I'm like, because it makes it feel like you could actually see it coming if you paid attention.
You know what, too? One thing I didn't see coming was like who was the whole movie gonna follow specifically? I wasn't sure if it was gonna be Cersei or someone else that we're gonna follow the whole time. I thought maybe we're gonna follow like Kit Harington's character the whole time.
Yo, me too.
Because he's the human. You know, we're human. We relate to him.
Yeah.
We didn't even see him in the movie, really, right?
You know, it's because his role got taken by Kango's valet. You know what I mean? You're right. I agree the same way. I was like, where's the human that's going to tether us to this story?
Yeah.
And then it turned out to be Kango's valet.
Yeah.
Which I think was actually a good move.
I think so. Yeah, that was actually pretty fun.
Yeah. And then okay, the Game of Thrones reference. You ready?
Okay.
So, do you remember what Robb Stark told Jon Snow the last time they saw each other in Game of Thrones?
Which was like in the beginning, like the first season or some shit, right?
Yep, first season. He says, "I'll tell you. I'll spare you the time." He says, "Oh, the next time I see you, you'll be all in black."
Okay, yeah.
And what happens? Kit Harington is wearing an all-black suit with a black trench coat, then him and fucking Icarus come face to face, and I was like, he saw him. He's all in black. I was like, he's right. He didn't lie. You know,
that's hilarious.
That's the only Game of Thrones reference in the whole movie. I was hoping there was gonna be more. That's the only Game of Thrones reference in the whole movie.
Yeah. I didn't really catch any of this. Yeah.
That's it.
But seeing them connect, I was like, oh shit, reunion.
Yeah, reunion, man. That was cool. What else do we want to talk about? You know what? People are saying the fight scenes were lackluster. I get in the way that they didn't matter as to the story, but I like the fight scenes. I thought they were cool. I think it was nice to see that shit.
The last fight with
that was great.
That was awesome. So watching Icarus versus what's homegirl's name? Makari. That was a dope fight. I'm like, this is how like Superman versus Flash would be. Then I remember like, oh wait, Superman's just as fast.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, Superman's almost. No, he's not just as fast, but he's pretty close.
Pretty close, right?
It's more like Dragon Ball Z if Flash and Superman start fighting. Like, you barely see like light bouncing around and shit. Yeah,
but that was I like that whole fight and just the way like. Yeah, just that whole fight was dope.
I agree. I'm going to say something controversial, man. I think Makari is a way better speedster than the Flash or Quicksilver. Seeing her, especially, I don't know if you noticed that moment where she pushed Icarus into the wall and then started running and stopping right in front of him multiple times. And she hit him with multiple sonic booms. Like, she kept running and stopping in front, and he kept getting, like, driven further into the wall.
Yeah.
Because she kept fucking bam, 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 hitting him with sonic booms. I was like, that's fucking cool.
That was cool,
That was super fucking cool. I was like, Flash has never done that. Quicksilver's never done that. I'm like, come on, Marvel and DC. Like, well, but this is Marvel. But I'm like, come on, guys, like, step them up a little bit. Like, Makari's looking pretty hard right now. Yeah. I like that a lot.
I like that. I like how she explained her powers in a way too. Like
the vibrations.
Toph. I got Toph vibes.
Yeah.
Like literally vibes.
And how she's deaf and she can still hear you because she reads the vibrations in the. I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. I agree.
So I like that about her too.
Yeah.
So
Icarus and Makari, that was cool. You know what? I really liked Phastos versus Icarus because he did some Naruto shit. Did you notice that?
He totally did.
You caught that, right? I was like, AJ's gonna catch this for sure. Yeah. I was like, all those things he threw that Icarus was easily blocking earlier, like that was a setup. That was all set up.
Yep. That was dope too. I like seeing that. Yeah, so in a way, he was like the Iron Man. You know, we got our Quicksilver in there, right? We have our Superman in there. Oh, by the way, speaking of Superman too, dude, a lot of DC references, right?
There was like 3, if I remember. There was a lot.
I was like, the first time I was like, okay, cool, whatever. But then it came up a couple times, like Batman was named dropped at one point.
You and your valet are like Alfred and Batman.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, okay, that's just straight up like calling him out right there, like.
And then the kid's like, "You're Superman." He's like, "No, I'm not Superman." He's like, "No, you were flying and punching and shooting beams from your eyes." He's like, "I don't have a cape."
Yeah, exactly. I like that.
That was cool. I was happy about that too.
Yeah,
that was dope. Yeah, a lot of little DC references. I feel like they're doing what the movies used to do in like the 90s, early 2000s, that they can say that those things exist as comics and movies in their world. I like that. Like, because it's.
I feel like now that they've done that though, we can never have a crossover.
Yeah, well, I've heard people saying that. Just because we've done that already, it kind of fucking stalls a crossover. And yeah, you know what's even funnier? Chloe Zhao says she was inspired by Zack Snyder's Man of Steel with a lot of the things that were done in this movie.
I see that.
Yeah, me too. Okay, little fun side things that maybe people didn't catch. Oh wait, before that, how about the obvious references to the MCU? Because there's not a lot. There's only a couple.
Yeah, there's a few.
Of
course, Thanos being referenced, right?
Yeah. Yo, so Thanos was right?
I guess, right? So, okay, to get into the story now a little bit too then, because now that you bring that up. So
he was right? Like,
not the fact that he's right, but he was actually did something good that I don't think he realized he did that was good, right?
Are you sure he didn't realize it?
You think he knew that shit was... Well, Earth specifically, like, had a... What are they called again?
A seed.
A celestial seed in there, right? That shit was going to be born, like, in 6 days until Thanos snapped, and that shit got, like, fucking paused, right?
I don't think he knew specifically the timeline at Earth.
Right.
And I don't think...
That snap saved Earth.
Yeah, it did. It saved Earth's
and they didn't even know that.
Yeah. But see, I don't think it was going to happen 6 days after, because we had more population when people returned. Because people were trying to procreate and bring life back to normal, and then everyone came back.
And then it got accelerated. Then.
So we had more than what they were projecting us to have, and like, oh, emergence time. Like, you know, it's a... I don't think he specifically knew Earth was the thing, but I think he knew Celestials have this plan to fucking burst out of planets, and, you know, once they have enough life, and fucking destroy that planet and make more Celestials. I think he knew that. And that was why he wanted to half all the populations, so that wouldn't happen. Because it's a very specific thing, halving all the populations. And then we find out the population is what makes the Celestials born.
Yeah.
I kind of think it's on purpose, man. I don't know for sure.
I don't know, because he was going around saying that it was because everyone's freaking selfish or whatever, you know.
Well, Celestials, right? Selfish,
Okay,
right? Like,
I guess.
they were trying to seed more life so that they could bore their children. So, like, maybe, like, he's seeing that, you know? And especially since nowhere was a thing and Thanos has been to nowhere, and that's the head of a giant Celestial, I'm like,
right.
I feel like he might have known some things, you know? The fact that he's interested in the Infinity Stones, which are an old school tool of the Celestials, kind of makes me feel like he might know some shit, you know? Like I said, this isn't fact.
Yeah, but maybe in the back of his mind, maybe he's like, oh, and also this is gonna happen. But this is my main goal. But you know, if you want to go into details with it, here's some other shit you used to think about. Maybe something like that, you know?
Yeah, because Thanos has been halving the populations for like decades.
True.
Like probably before Stark was born, he's probably been doing this. You know, like, but yeah, and then you know his brother, you know, being the new Prince of Titan or whatever, or the head of Titan.
Let's get into him later on because I have questions there too.
Okay.
But before that, other thing I thought about too, especially with him coming into the picture now too. So they talked about
Star Fox.
Yeah, right. But they talked about Thanos snapping everyone and everyone coming back, right? And that got me thinking. Thanos was snapped. Can Thanos be unsnapped at some point? Especially now that we have his brother in the picture.
Okay, I'll tell you something in the comics. When the Infinity War happens, Thanos had just been brought back to life.
Oh, okay.
Because prior to that, Adam Warlock killed him. So there is a precedence for Thanos coming back to life and fucking more shit up. Or teaming up with the Avengers. There is precedence for that. So what you're saying in the comics does hold water.
So yeah, someone might want to bring him back by snapping again, and
if they think he has the solution to it, then maybe they would,
or something. Yeah. So I thought about that later on. I was like, I don't know. It's just an interesting like concept. Especially they keep bringing up Thanos again. You know, like Thanos keeps getting brought up now. Like it's kind of crazy.
And I'm sure you may not remember from our previous conversations, but Thanos is an Eternal.
I was about to ask that too. Like what is he again? He's an Eternal, right?
He's an Eternal with the deviant gene.
Oh,
which means he's basically he's an Eternal.
He's a crossbreed.
He's a mutant Eternal, like the X-Men. And that mutation gave him the deviant. The deviant gene is what causes mutation, and that's why mutants are what the Celestials always wanted. They're a combination of Eternals and deviants.
Interesting.
Because the deviant gene is the X gene. That's what changes them. And the change gives them access to eternal powers. You know? Aspects, little parts of it. So I'm like, oh shit, we're setting it up.
Something's getting set up, yeah. I was hoping to see more evidence of like mutants popping up now, but they didn't give us anything yet.
But you know what it was more? I think you might want to hear this. One thing it was setting up, is Fantastic Four. Because the whole concept of
like in things in space and shit.
not just because of that, but the whole concept of Celestials taking their energy and creating the Eternals, who are their servants that do shit for them, is very, very similar to Galactus using the power cosmic to create heralds. But Galactus isn't as strong as the Celestials, so what he does is he takes his power and puts it on a being that's already alive. As opposed to the Eternals that create a brand new being.
Okay.
So he finds people that will serve him, gives them the power cosmic, and then they transform into heralds.
Okay.
I.e., Silver Surfer.
Silver Surfer, yeah.
So this whole concept of a Celestial giving part of their power to their underlings to make them a thing.
But then them turning around on them.
And Silver Surfer does that to Galactus
right?
too, yeah. They're setting it all up. Because Galactus is basically like a low-level Celestial.
So you think just to not cause so much confusion, you think the MCU will just go straight up like freaking, oh my god, what's his name again? Galactus is a I'm forgetting these freaking names, man. Celestial, yeah. So you think they're gonna say he's a Celestial and that Silver Surfer's an Eternal?
No.
You think they'll go that route?
No, I don't think so. But what I do
just to
think,
make it easier for us to understand, since they already introduced us to this concept.
I don't think they'll do that. However, I do think what they could do is say he's a low-level Celestial and he's doing a weaker version of what they're doing, which is why he needs a living being.
His fake ass,
Silver
Surfer,
ass,
Eternal,
right?
Yeah.
You know, Eternal. But the other thing that I think is a possibility is that they can go into a very obscure story that's very popular in Marvel called Earth X, and in Earth X, you find out from a cosmic being that what we didn't know in the Marvel universe is there's a whole system going on with the Celestials. The Celestials have the impulse to birth more Celestials often. So they go around a lot of planets with life and seed them everywhere, like a lot of them. And Galactus is the check for that. He is there to eat planets that have been impregnated by Celestials. So he eats the planets that have the seeds in it specifically to keep the universe from having too many Celestials. Because when there's too many, they eventually decide to destroy everything.
Right.
So Galactus is the counter to keep Celestials in check.
Right.
Right? And then the reason the planet a Celestial is born on starts to contain superhumans and powerful beings is because they're basically antibodies to protect the planet where they're being born from Galactus. So it's a virus antibody situation in a baby's creation.
That's interesting.
Right? And I'm like, and I know it sounds complicated.
Yeah.
But I think with what we've been given, that's easier than doing what it regularly is in the comics. So I think they could say that. Galactus is there to eat the planets that have been impregnated by the Celestials.
And then pretty much they have like a baby half-born and Celestial right now on Earth.
The seed's still there.
You think Galactus wants to eat that?
Yep. Yep. I think he'd want it even more because it's developed. More power. Like maybe he wants to eat that even more.
That's cool. I like this.
Yeah.
I like this story here.
A little side information for you about it. Anything else? All right. So final battle. Okay. What did you think about the characters? Who's your favorite? Real quick.
I like the homie with the tech, man.
I knew you would love it. Fucking Fastos. Yeah.
I love how he introduced like freaking steam engine. They're like, they're not
too
ready for
fast.
that.
Yeah.
That's too much right now. You can't do just
fine. Here's a plow.
Yeah, just like something easier, like a plow. Yeah, just give him that. That's cool.
And it's funny because that's what shaped our fucking society. Is a plow. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Oh man, but he's trying to give us straight up like a freaking engine and shit right away. That's funny.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, it's like the crazy tech he had. He's pretty funny too. And then I like. I don't know. I like Angelina's. I like Thena.
Thena she's one of my top ones.
Thena was pretty badass for sure. Actually, I did like Cersei's fucking whole like her powers and stuff. Like even though she's still trying to figure it out, and then the fact that she was able to fucking make it into a bigger thing later on, like I thought that was cool.
Well, I like Cersei. I agree. I think that she was kind of boring, and I'll tell you why from a comic person's perspective. I don't know about from a person going in blind, so you could tell me how you feel about that. But from a comic person's perspective, Cersei's supposed to be the fun Eternal. She's supposed to be the one that...
She reminded me of a Katara.
Yes, and that's the opposite.
She was still Katara.
She's supposed to be Aang. Like, Cersei is the one who jokes, the one who makes fun of people, the one who flirts, the one who likes humans, the one who joins the Avengers because she wants to do more with her life. They took that away from her and gave it to everybody else.
Yeah.
Kango was a lot more...
fun.
Like Cersei. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Makari... stealing shit, having a little fun.
True.
That was more like Cersei.
Okay.
And I feel like they took all of her best aspects and gave it to the other Eternals to make them more interesting, which I understand because in the book, they're kind of boring. And like without Cersei and Makari, which sadly Makari is nothing like her comic book version. I like her. She's great in the movie. She's 100% different.
Okay.
She's not only a guy in the comic, she's also a doctor in the comic. She also loves her human life as in the comic. She's nothing like her fucking comic.
Yeah, that's totally different. That's crazy.
Yeah, she's the only one. Everybody else was pretty close to who they were in the comics. Makari was the only one where I'm like, you're not Makari, but I like you, so I'll accept it. But that's a comic book for fans' perspective about what they did with it. What'd you think going in blind?
I I went in blind for sure because I didn't know anything about these characters at all. I even saw like a post on like Instagram that I saved, but I never went back to see it. And it's like, oh, here's the Eternals before you watch the movie, so you can know how they are in the comics.
It's good you didn't watch that.
I didn't. It's just like a post to read, like all the characters, like a little quick bio each of them. I wanted to read it, just didn't have time, and I forgot about it. But regardless, I actually liked them all. They all had the little things about them that made them pretty cool. Like even homie, which is named Druid. With the mind control shit.
Yeah.
I like his whole thing and like how he wanted to go and just take over everyone and like so I like all that. How he was using humans but at the same time not. Like that was cool. Like everyone had their own little quirk that they just were cool in some way but like kind of a bitch in another way sometimes,
You want to know why I think that was happening too? I think they were playing with the comic fans. because in the comics, the Neil Gaiman run from 2014, I think, it's basically the same story as this.
Okay.
Except they didn't open it out the way the comic started. In the comic, it opens out one of the Eternals is murdered, and one of them is the traitor.
Well, that still happened. Well, I said we
No,
didn't know,
it happened.
I said we didn't know there was a traitor, though.
Yeah, this time, but with this, like, yeah, they kept it from us that there was a traitor. But in the book, you know right away, one of them is a traitor, and they're all suspecting each other.
And you know what? Like, from the beginning, I thought Icarus was going to be the bad guy.
That's funny.
He just had a feel and a look to him.
He hates humans.
Yeah.
He's so dry with humans. Like, it seems like he don't like them.
Yeah. Like, as soon as we start to like learn a little bit more about him, like, he's gonna flip. Like, I feel like someone has to flip in this group here. And I feel like it's gonna be him.
That's funny. That being said, I feel like he let Gilgamesh die on purpose. Because he was the strongest Eternal. You know what I mean? Like, it was very clear throughout the whole movie, Gilgamesh was the strongest.
Yeah.
And the only reason he wasn't the leader is because he had no interest.
Right.
You know, like, and I was like, he let him fucking die. I'm like, you did that so that he wouldn't be in your way. You know what I mean? Like, you did that on purpose, motherfucker. Like, I want to see the movie again to see if I'm right.
Right.
I feel like he did that on purpose, man.
I felt the same way too. I felt like he could have done something. I felt like, yeah, he was getting overpowered a little bit there, but I feel like he could have helped.
Together, they could have done it.
Distracted something.
They're the two strongest ones.
Oh yeah, there's teamwork. That's true, right?
And Thena was there. The three of them were the strongest ones. I'm like, the three of you could have killed all these fools if you really tried, but he flew away. And I'm like, you bitch ass, you did that on purpose.
Yeah.
So, in my perspective, the comics, the traitor. So first off, there's one of them that's the obvious villain, which they kind of play with that in this, and that's Druig. In the comics, Druig openly tells them, "Fuck you guys. Like, I don't like the way you do it. I'm doing my own thing." And so you think he's the traitor and the bad guy, but as the book progresses, you know who the traitor is? Sprite.
Which still kind of happened.
Kind of, yeah. But in the book, Sprite's the main traitor.
That's great. Is it for the same reasons?
No. Yeah, exact same reasons.
Yeah, okay.
Only the thing is that Sprite erased all their memories and made them all forget they were Eternals.
Oh, wow.
So that Sprite could have her own life.
Wow.
And so she still betrayed them and, like, fucked them over, right?
Right.
But the actual traitor, the one who actually betrayed them all to die, is Thena.
Oh, wow.
Because she's in love with the deviant leader.
Oh, wow.
And, you know, they kind of hinted at that a little bit by having him have Gilgamesh's energy and shit.
Yeah.
They hinted at it, but they didn't go all the way with that. But in the book, and when you see it in the movie at the beginning and she starts attacking them, your first thought, if you've read the comic, is, oh shit, Angelina Jolie's the traitor, just like in the book. And then they throw you as it goes on. So
Yeah.
I feel like this was the best Marvel movie in throwing the comic book fans.
Okay, yeah.
In my
That's
opinion,
cool.
you know?
Yeah, I like that. I can see that. Now you're telling me all this, like, all those moments you're bringing up, like, yeah, those are all throw-offs right there.
Yeah.
That's cool. I like that. Like, I had no connection to the original, but I can appreciate that there.
Right.
But yeah, so, like, I like them all. They're all pretty cool. Like,
Me too.
I got nothing against any of them, really. Except maybe Icarus is too strong, too OP, but that's about it.
Yeah. You know, one thing I felt was weird at the end, the Unimind, it seems like the Celestial let them do that. Didn't it?
Did the Celestial even know what it's doing? It's just being born, dude.
You know,
like, who knows, like, how much knowledge it actually has and what's going on right now.
The only reason I think it was on purpose, because in the comics, the Celestial makes an active choice to keep dreaming because it doesn't want to kill all the people that brought it to life. You know what I mean? Like, it knows what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
And it chooses not to fucking be born to protect Earth.
Like, I feel like that Celestial needs to be born, just be out in the middle of nowhere, and then one of those fucking other beings come up to, like, okay, here's your orders. This is what you're here to do.
Yeah.
And then it becomes, oh, okay, I know what I'm doing now. And then it goes off on its mission.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't get to that point to be birthed and get its orders and its instructions.
Well,
so maybe that's why it let itself die, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I'll give you a way out theory. You know how they said it absorbs the energy of the intelligent life on the planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if the sacrifices that the Avengers made is what affected its psyche? Because they said it drains the mental energy of the intelligent life on the planet, and all the Avengers just sacrificed a gang of shit to beat Thanos.
Right.
Tony Stark died on purpose, snapped. That energy is kind of what pushed the emergence. You know, Black Widow sacrificed something, died for the stone. You know, the Hulk sacrificed something, died to bring people back. I'm wondering if that sacrifice was absorbed by the Celestial, and it chose, you know, like, you know what? I'm gonna let this fucking planet live. It's just a theory. Only reason I even bring it up is because that's kind of what happens in the book. In the
Okay.
comic, like the Celestial chooses to keep dreaming, so it doesn't end what brought it to life.
Right.
But just an idea. I was just like, because they don't imply that they're strong enough to do it with the Unimind. So I was surprised they were able to pull it off. And then they said the Celestial joined in the Unimind. I'm like, so the Celestial wanted to die?
I don't know, right? But she has some power from it still, right? So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And then she used that power on Sprite to let her become human.
Fuck Sprite, bro. I'm so mad she did that. I'm
Yeah?
like, dude, fuck Sprite. Sprite not only betrayed them, but got to get out of the judgment at the end because they made her human. I'm like, fuck Sprite, bro. Like, you were an asshole and you didn't get any of the consequences. Like, yeah, I'm kind of mad they helped Sprite at the end. I'm like, fuck that bitch.
I mean, like, well, I guess Icarus like killed himself in the end, though, right?
Yes. I say, if I was part of the Eternals, I said Sprite, Icarus, and Kango can all die. I'm like, you guys fucked everything up. Like,
Yeah, Kingo wasn't even there at the end, actually.
I know he didn't fucking fight Icarus at the end. I'm like, you
Yeah.
bitch ass. He should have been here,
he just
dude. Like,
bounced.
and he was like, oh, I don't want to fight anybody, so I'm just gonna leave.
Yeah, let you guys deal with it. Yeah, it's funny.
The funny thing is, he got that judgment though, even though he wasn't part of that. when they fucking got called into the office when they were fired. They called in Cersei, Fastos, and Kango, right?
Mm.
He pulled them from fucking Earth, snatched them. Man, he snatched them out their car like that Kendrick Lamar skit. I was like, damn, bro. This fool pulled you and said, "You guys fucked up. I'm not happy right now."
Yeah, pretty
That
much
was
what he
not-
said, yeah.
And dude, other thing, this was the sexiest and scariest Marvel movie ever, dude. What the fuck? There's that sex scene with Cersei and Icarus.
Oh, yeah.
Not complaining. I'm just like, I was very just shocked.
I
like,
was
okay.
shocked how far it went.
Yeah, they showed them naked on the sand together. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, you guys
And
really
there
did
was
this.
motions.
And there was motions. On top of that, I don't think it was that big of a deal, but the kiss between Brian Tyree Henry and his husband,
Yeah.
that was a pretty big focus. Also, Kit Harington and Cersei making out, they focused on that for a long time. I was like, this movie is very sexy. I'm like surprised, I'm surprised.
By the way, speaking of Kit Harington, he wanted to be a giraffe.
That was great.
It's like, why? Because he's short, dude? Like,
I know, dude. I was like, if I didn't believe she was a god before, I definitely believed it by seeing her tower over him. I was like,
right?
she's fucking huge compared to him.
oh, man.
Yeah. So yeah.
You know, I think you were asking earlier, like, why something about Cersei is how she was the main character and how I felt about it compared to like how she's supposed to be. I think the other thing, at least for me, that like kept me focused on her was the fact that she's like so hot.
Yeah, she's very pretty. She's
is.
very fucking pretty. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
That Gemma Chan chick, yeah, she's hot.
She is for sure. And then on top of that, like she had her Katara moments too, where like she wasn't the funniest, but you can tell she cared a lot, and I think that's what also carried her through. Because I think she's our connection, our human connection.
She is, because she seems to care the most.
Because she
about
cares
the
about
humans.
us, and we want to be connected to her because she's gonna be the one to save us in the end, right?
True.
So I think that's the other reason why she was the main focus of the movie, which I didn't expect.
You're right. I just felt like they could have made her more likable, more like her comic self. But you're right, though. I get that.
More personality.
Yeah, a
in
little more
some way.
personality.
She's totally Katara though. I don't know. I was got Katara vibes from her, and then she like waterbend at one point, right?
yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, she did waterbend for a while.
Right.
Okay, yeah,
And then Tai Chi bringing up the fact that sprites turn into human, so she can age.
yeah, I
When
get
they bring
it.
her back, she'll actually be older.
I don't think they're gonna do that though. I think they're gonna bring the character in exactly as she looks like this. I think they're gonna use this actress again. I think she's gonna be
But she's gonna age.
Yeah.
She's gonna get older in real life.
this Eternal thing. This Celestial thing is not gonna take more than a year for him to come back for Escharum. Escharum.
Yeah.
Escharum.
Escharum, yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to take more than a year or two for him to come back and fucking judge the planet, which we're going to talk about that in a minute.
But like, who
'cause
knows when Eternals 2 is coming out though, right?
It's not going to
We think that the Eternals will return.
If they age her, it's going to be the same actress. Cause I don't.
yeah, it's gonna be the same actress,
Yeah. So.
but she'll be older when they could do this next movie.
I
so they'll
guess.
need a reason for her, like, oh, why is she like a little older than last time? Well, it's because she actually aged in real life too,
See, I feel like they
And
could.
now she's human,
I feel like if they wanted to, they could just fix that in makeup. They make a lot of people look younger than they are. Like Chris Evans, have you seen like how they keep making him look the same age, even though he's fucking much older than when all this started? Like,
Yeah, but maybe they don't want to do it. Like, yeah, we spent too much money on makeup and these other motherfuckers. Let's need to stop doing this. Let's start with Sprite.
yeah, I don't think they would let that affect the plot personally, but I don't know. I guess it's all up to, we'd have to see what they say. But either way, Yeah, I like what they did with that. I feel like Sprite's gonna be that same actress, and she's gonna be our voice to the Avengers as to what's going on with the Eternals and the Celestials. Like,
yeah,
because she knows about.
She's a storyteller too, right?
And and she knows about Captain Rogers and Iron Man. She's the one who brought up Captain America and Iron Man, so she's clearly following the Avengers in some capacity. She's interested. So I could see her like meeting them, like, "Oh, you guys, you can help. I gotta tell you something."
Yeah,
you know.
You saw the shit going on with the celestial thing in the middle. Let me tell you what's going down.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, what's the timeline on this shit?
They talked about it. I wish I could.
Like, it was days after the snap, right? After everyone came back, right?
Not days. This is a while after this. Like a few.
Or is it like weeks?
Weeks or months, I'd say. Because they already have posters about program. Like, there was a poster about the snap already. So that tells me something's going on. Like, or it's been a while. I believe that they said even before the movie came out that this takes place before WandaVision. Like, just a little bit before WandaVision.
But WandaVision's so short after, wasn't it? After Endgame, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It was like a month or two after Endgame. So you go.
So this is taking place somewhere around Falcon and Winter Soldier, says Tai Chi.
Around the same time as Falcon and Winter
so
Soldier.
maybe like a couple months or so, okay.
And I'll tell you this. Falcon said, androids, aliens, wizards. And what are the Eternals? Androids. So maybe the fucking Celestial coming out is their fault, and that's what he was talking about. It's always androids, aliens, or wizards. And Celestials are aliens and androids.
Oh, other question I
I'm
have
sorry,
too.
Eternals.
Other question I have too. So, freaking Eagle, the living planet, said he's a.
This is gonna be a long conversation.
So
I've been thinking about this too. All right, go on.
So he planted some shit on the Earth, and we saw that shit like blow up. Never knew what the fuck it was. What was he doing? Why was he planting shit? Does he not know there's a freaking? Oh, I keep forgetting what they're called.
Celestial.
Celestial. God, I can't remember
He
his
is
name.
one, yeah.
I mean, he is one, but did he know that Earth was planted with a seed of a celestial seed too?
I'm going to go out and say no, because he said when he was born and came to life, he was floating out there alone.
Okay.
And that's why he started procreating, to make more family for himself.
So you think he was rejected, or you think he was...
I think he's an experiment.
Damn.
Because the other Celestials can't create life through sex. Through birth, through regular shit.
But he can.
But
Maybe he's like half deviant too, and he doesn't know it.
Hey, you know what? That's a good theory. Maybe they decided to inject some deviant shit in him because they created deviants, right?
Right.
As we find out in the movie. You know what, AJ? Maybe I could see that.
So then he didn't know there was a celestial egg over on Earth.
No, he just
so
seeded everywhere he could.
Yeah.
Okay. And which makes me think even more why he's part of their project, because maybe they were trying to find a better way to bring Celestials without destroying the fucking whole planet every time, And maybe it was a fail because they didn't make more egos.
So if celestial seed, are planted into planets and planets explode, right?
They fucked the whole world, yeah.
So Tai Chi, in regards to that, Tai Chi says if Eagle bursts out of a planet, he kind of be floating out there in space, wouldn't he? I mean...
But he didn't burst out of a planet, I don't think. They didn't say that.
Maybe he doesn't know he burst out of a planet. Again, that consciousness, who knows when that consciousness actually comes into play?
But here's the thing. He
just wakes up floating. He's like, what the fuck am I doing here?
I think that's because with whatever new project they're doing, he is the planet. Do you know what I mean?
He is a living planet, too. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe with this new project...
He's just weird.
He is the planet. Yeah. Like I said, I feel like in some way he's an experiment by the Celestials. I don't think they believe in it or they like it because they never contacted him and never came to recruit him.
They lost his number.
Stupid. He just lost his
hey,
number.
what happened to that one dude? Fuck, what's his name,
Fuck.
Didn't we leave him out there at that one section of the galaxy?
What's his name? Russell?
Yeah. Will, no.
Right.
Oh, he'll come around.
Which, by the way, this tells me if this ego thing is important to the plot, I think Star-Lord just got his importance back. You know what I mean? Because he's, an untapped Celestial, right? So.
But then again, did he lose that power supposedly after Ego died?
Maybe it's not gone, Maybe it's not totally gone. Because apparently Ego, from what we just learned right now, Ego does not understand what the fuck is going on. so maybe he could be wrong.
He was not giving any memos.
Yeah, no memos, no notes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about how sexy Eternals is. Dude, how scary was this fucking movie? Now, I'm not saying I was terrified. I'm a horror fan. But there was some moments where I was like, Jesus, like, people's kids are in here? Like, I don't know if you remember the first time a human was fishing and the deviant snuck up on him and fucking ate him in front of him. I was like, yo, isn't this a Marvel movie? That's my first response. I was like, what the fuck? And they show the deviant, like, fucking swallow him and shit, and you're just like, what? So I'm not mad. I like it. but I'm like, that was weird for Marvel for me.
I don't think the scariness. I don't think that didn't bug me as much as the freaking sex scenes we had and all that romantic shit going on.
You know, it bothered me almost as much because I can't think of a single Marvel movie that ever did that. There was a little bit in Endgame.
Just kidding.
Anyway, there was a little bit of that in Endgame. A little bit, but they never caught anyone. The Outriders never caught anybody.
Maybe this is them testing the seas for, Morbius or
Midnight Suns.
Or because
wait, we'll get to that. Wait, we'll talk about that.
All right.
Okay. The other thing that was scary when they went to Druig's camp and the fucking deviant was creeping on the tree and fucking ate that person. Again,
It happens, dude.
that's just creepy. I'm like, it's different
You
from
shouldn't be hanging out in the forest by yourself alone like that. When they're shitting trees.
facts. That's true, AJ. And then the other scary ass moment, dude, when Escharum.
You're just scared, man. I don't know. What
Man, bro, we ain't never seen no shit like that. When Escharum ripped them off of Earth,
That was
and
kinda
you see him in the fucking clouds,
That was
like,
kind of scary, though.
bro,
That one was
that's
kinda
what I'm
scary.
saying. Like,
Yeah.
people's kids were in these movies. Like, I'm like,
Dude,
dude,
especially with his eyes like that, I got mad. Also with the Celestial in the fucking water, mad Evangelion-like vibes.
yeah, bro,
For both of those scenes.
Ava, very Ava.
Yeah.
And dude, okay, so then I guess let's get to the ending and the end credit scenes, and then we'll drop this. The ending, he's coming back to judge the planet,
Yeah.
and so in the books,
And he's gonna bring his homie Galactus.
no, he's probably gonna bring the Celestials. And so in the books, this is
Isn't he the judger or is it the judge?
Escharum the judge.
Yeah.
They all have names. Isam the searcher, the one that we didn't get, Tiamat the dreamer. The one that was supposed to be born from Earth.
Okay.
Isam the searcher is the one who blew up the fucking planet in the Guardians of the Galaxy thing with the Power Stone.
Okay.
And then the most powerful one, the leader, Escharum the judge, who is
Oh,
who we're
shit.
dealing with. He's the strongest one.
That's whack.
Yeah, really whack for us.
Yeah.
But I have a theory. So in the comic books, the fourth host is the end game. That's the real end game. That's where the Avengers, Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, X-Men, everybody has to come out. Ghost Rider, because this motherfucker is the size of the planet and he's ready to fucking just erase everything.
Right.
So in the comics, this is the end game when Escharum comes back to judge the planet and judges it as unworthy. And the reason I think it might get judged unworthy is because of Phastos, which is one of the three Eternals he took. He took
Yeah.
Kango, Cersei, and Phastos.
Right.
And what did Phastos say? He regrets what he did because the humans used it to destroy each other.
Yeah.
And the fucking Hiroshima and Nagasaki happened. And if Escharum sees that in his mind, that's it for Earth. That's what I think. And this will bring about the fourth host, which is where 4 fucking Celestials come down to wipe the planet out. Not 1, 4.
Damn.
So I feel like what they could do is break this up. And the judge sends a weaker Celestial to come to Earth. And maybe that's what Avengers 5 is about. The Avengers fend off a weaker Celestial, together with a little bit of help from Kit Harington and other people.
If Peter Quill can defeat one, who just says, small group of Avengers
Yeah,
can't beat at a lower level,
With
legit one.
Maybe with the help of Peter Quill or the Black Knight, they could take one down.
Maybe.
And then this will lead to what I think is the end of Phase 5. Escharum comes here himself. And that's where the mutants and the Fantastic Four and everyone has to fucking team up and all right, fuck this fool. Let's fucking stop this shit,
So do you think we just got introduced to our Thanos now?
Yep. I think this is our Phase 5 problem. Not 4, not the phase we're on. This is our problem for the next phase.
Okay.
That's my guess. We'll see. But I mean, I don't... There's
Or even 6, maybe.
Maybe even 6, yeah.
Because it took us 3 phases to get to Thanos finally.
True. The reason I think it's 5 and not 6 is because there is one threat worse than the Celestials, and that's the Beyonder. And I think that Beyonder is linked to Secret Wars. So I feel like before we get to Secret Wars, we're gonna have to deal with the lead of Celestial, and then we're ready for Beyonder, who's even more powerful than the Celestials.
Interesting.
Beyonder's kind of the top of the line. So, yeah, I mean that's where I think this is going, man. I also think that in the comics, the whole thing is that the Eternals die and they come back to life, reset with their memories reblinked. So I think all the ones we saw die could be in that World Forge, and the one where they create them. I also think the 3 Eternals we saw got taken are in a prison in the World Forge, which they do have a prison in the World Forge in the comics.
The Raft.
Yeah, the Eternals raft. Yeah, the Eternal raft. And then I think that's what, if we get Eternals 2, it's going to be about the 3 that we have, Makari, Druig, and Thena, teaming up with Star Fox and the rest of the Eternals in the universe that have been made to do this shit. And they're all going to go to the World Forge together to break out the other ones and get their memories back. Because the Celestials already said they've been taking their memories every time.
Yeah. I
think if they wake them all up, they're all going to be like, we want our fucking memories back. And it's going to be a war, Eternals versus Celestials.
Okay.
You know? So that's my guess of where they're going with Phase 5 and where this whole thing is headed. I mean, for you that knows nothing about that shit, what do you think?
Fucking sounds crazy, man. Like, I don't even know what to think right now. I'm worried about more the Earth shit. Like, when are we getting mutants and shit? And when's Fantastic Four coming through? And what the fuck's going on with Spider-Man and all? That's what I'm worried about right now.
Yeah.
I'm not even worried about what's going on in space right now.
I think this is a setup for Fantastic Four, though.
But I think so, too. I was going to say that, too. Like, maybe in a way, Fantastic Four will be involved because it's space shit. That's what they do, right?
They get their powers from space.
Yeah, so maybe that's what's going to happen there.
And in the comics,
what do you think? What if they were in space when one of the snaps happened and that's how they get their powers?
I could see the snap causing a cosmic ray.
Yeah.
And that's what fucking gives them their powers. You know, just like in the comics.
Yeah, because they kind of show like something like energy bursting off the planet when the snaps happen, right? So anyways, that's just a random thought there.
One last thing I want to tell you about.
Yeah.
In this Fantastic Four comic I have, right?
Okay.
It's a big one with paper print and all that. I want to actually show you the moment. In the beginning of it, the comic starts with saying, "Stop us if you heard this one before. 4 astronauts get in a spaceship." Right?
Okay, yeah.
And you see these 4 astronauts, but they're weird because they have colored suits. They're not all gray astronaut suits like ours. One guy's wearing a yellow astronaut suit, one guy's wearing a green one guy's wearing a red one, and this girl's wearing a blue one.
Oh shit, the Power Rangers?
So, they go to their thing, and you totally think, oh, this is about to be the Fantastic Four story, right?
Right.
And then as they're going through the fucking, what you think is the cosmic rays, they're like, this is a story from the dawn of time.
Oh, shit.
Right?
That's
and they go through the portal, and they get transformed, and the universe they just came from got destroyed. And they turn into the Celestials.
Oh, wow.
And they are in this new universe, and they created the universe. And they throw you off, making you think you're seeing the Fantastic Four at the beginning. So I'm wondering if they can create a parallel between the Fantastic Four and the Celestials.
Interesting.
Maybe the Celestials are astronauts from a previous universe.
Yeah.
And they got all the power of their universe, and it made them Celestials.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what the Fantastic Four will be, a weak version of them. You know, 4 astronauts that passed through something similar but weaker. And that's how they got their powers, you know? And that's something that this book highlights. I'd really like you to read it. It's pretty cool, and it's an easy read.
I'm not going to read it, but yeah. Okay, I just had another thought right now that can just totally fuck up everything we just talked about.
Throw me.
Because we're talking about, he fucking Resham, the new big bad, right?
Yeah.
Are we forgetting about Kang right now? Kang the Conqueror?
Well, I think he's the
How is he going to tie into all this shit?
I think he's the Phase 4 problem.
Okay.
Because we still have a lot of movies left in Phase 4.
Yeah, we do.
I think Kang is our Phase 4 problem.
All right.
And
but then I'm also thinking that if he's over there messing with time and stuff, did he not see all this shit happening and he did nothing about it? Like, is this all going according to his plan?
Well, what Kang? Sylvie killed him. So the one that would have seen all this.
But he's seen this.
But he's dead.
But he has seen it, though.
But he's dead.
But he's dead now. I know he's dead, but he's
it doesn't matter what he's seen. What he saw, he saw that, and he was keeping all this from happening. But now he's dead.
No, I don't think he was keeping. I feel like everything, because the Kang that died was far at the end of time, right?
Yeah, he's the one. He's the Kang that was more powerful than all the others.
So that means all this shit has already happened to him.
Not exactly. It's not exactly.
You don't think so?
He said that's not exactly how it works. The thing is that there was only one timeline before Kang died.
Yes.
There was one. And he said, if you kill me, this opens the multiverse and all the possibilities that come with it and all the different versions of me that come with it. So we don't know that any of this is in the plans anymore because he's dead now. So all that shit he knows and how it was supposed to go is a moot point now. Because now there's other Kangs involved. Everything he saw was based on there not being any other Kangs.
So you think there's a possibility we see that Kang try to like go and fix this shit, and they have to go fight him? He's like, no, you got to stop. Like, this is not supposed to happen.
Well, what I think is he also told Sylvie that even if you do this, eventually the way things shake out is eventually I'm going to end up here again. So I think one of these parallel Kangs that he was supposedly keeping from existence will grow to be He Who Remains, and we'll come right back into that loop again.
Yeah.
So that's what I think, based on what he said.
All right, well, we'll see what happens with that too. All right, and then finally,
After credits.
After credit scene. So we got two of them. First one was like Thena and
Druig and Makari.
Yeah, all on the spaceship, right? Going wherever they're going. Where are they going again?
They're going to find the other Eternals.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're going to find the other Eternals. That's right.
And they said they've been putting a beacon out for days.
That's right.
And nobody's responded. And
Right.
they're called back Cersei, Kango, and Phastos, and they're not answering.
Right.
And we know why, because they got fucking called into the office.
Yeah.
They're so
They
fired.
got detained.
He told them not to do that shit. They're so fired.
So, and then out of nowhere, we get like some cosmic rays. We get a Bifrost effect, right? And we get a drunken elf or something.
My favorite. I've been waiting for this fool since Infinity War.
Yeah.
If you go back 2 years to some of our podcasts, I've been fucking waiting for Pip the Troll.
Isn't this who we thought which his name was going to be?
Yep, we thought it, the
Fool from Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones. Oh, I can't believe I can't remember. It's Peter Dinklage.
But yeah, Dinklage.
We
Yeah.
thought he was gonna be Pip the Troll because he was
Right.
casted for Endgame, and
Yeah.
I was like, it's got to be Pip. I was the one saying like, mark my words, it's gonna be Pip.
Yeah.
And because Tyrion is a drunk dwarf.
True. Yeah.
And Pip
okay.
is a drunk dwarf. And I was like, it's got to be him. And you know, and also Pip is very instrumental into taking down Thanos when he has the Infinity Gauntlet. So is Adam Warlock.
Yeah.
And so I was waiting for him for
And
years.
we got neither of them.
Yeah, and then bam, here comes Pip.
He's here now.
He's here now. Patton Oswalt voicing him. And we also got Eros of Titan, brother of Thanos.
Yeah.
Star Fox. Yes, I've been talking about him for a long time. I love Star Fox.
Don't know what he's gonna do. I'm waiting for like Peppy and Slippy to come through and.
He's calling them right now. They're on the way.
They're
you
on the
know?
way.
They're
Okay.
on the way.
Okay.
But no, we do know somewhat of what he's going to do. He's going to join his Eternal brothers, which he admitted that he is also an Eternal, which him being brother of Thanos kind of hints that Thanos is an Eternal.
Right. Yeah.
And he has an orb like Cersei that lets him
yeah.
contact Isharim, I'm guessing. And he says he knows where they took his friends. Where they took their friends, sorry. So it looks like Star Fox is going to help them out. And I'm pretty hyped. His costume looked fucking sick.
Now, do you think you'll see him and these other Eternals in the next Eternals movie, or you think we'll see him in maybe Guardians or something like that?
You know, I think we're gonna see Eros and Pip, and maybe even those three Eternals in Guardians 3.
Okay.
That's what I think. I think that's where we'll see them next.
That'd be
Don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Or the other thing I think they could do is they could just save this all for whenever the final game with Escharum happens, and then all this will start coming into play again. Kind of like how in Infinity War, like there was a lot of things set up that weren't going anywhere, like Doctor Strange, Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain Marvel, and they were all just kind of waiting for Infinity War to happen, and then bam, all these plots come in. I think they could do that again with this. You know, like maybe we won't see Eros and the Eternals for a long time. Maybe we won't see Shang-Chi for a long time, and then when Escharum gets here, maybe all those plot points will come together in an in-game style story. You know?
Okay.
I could see it.
Yeah, don't know what they're gonna do with him. But yeah, that's interesting. We got a couple new, more characters introduced. And then the last one, the very last one, the very end of the credits, we got the.
So how much did you know about Kit Harington's character? I know I've told you before this movie came out.
And I've heard of him being the Black Knight. Don't know who that is. I thought he was an Eternal for the longest, and then turns out he wasn't an Eternal at all. And I was like, so why is this Black Knight dude in this movie? I didn't get it. But I guess it's just their way to introduce him, right?
Well, I'll tell you real quick. Cersei mentioned his uncle, and he needs to make amends to him.
Yeah.
The uncle is actually the first Black Knight in the Marvel comic book story because he's part of a group called the Masters of Evil. The Masters of Evil are the counter to the Avengers, led by Baron Zemo.
Oh, shit.
And so they're the first team the Avengers fight.
Oh,
and
shit.
so basically, here's my guess. They're saying Black Knight, his uncle, was a supervillain maybe back in the Ant-Man days. Like maybe he fought.
Oh, that was like further back.
No.
Okay.
Like recently, like 70s, 60s.
Wasn't there something mentioned about like swords being forged and then like
Arthur, yeah. Arthur and
yeah.
the Ebony Blade. Yeah, that just means the sword was around before that, back in the King Arthur
and then the
days.
one that he has, is that the same sword from back in those days too?
The Ebony Blade.
So
yep.
I thought they were talking about the villain from those days, like before this current century, you know?
No, there was one. There was a Black Knight that had the Ebony Blade, but no, that's not who they're talking about.
Okay.
When she's talking about his uncle, he's probably like 60 or 70, and he was probably a villain to Ant-Man.
Oh, and then the whole thing about making amends with his uncle and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, because in the comic books, that Black Knight is evil. There is no good Black Knight at first for like 10 years. And then 10 years down the line, after that Black Knight's dead, they say his nephew came and inherited the sword. And the uncle told him, yo, I was an asshole. I fought the Avengers. I was a bad guy. I shamed our family. I want you to have this sword. Make the family's name right again. I fucked up. And so his way of making the family name right again is using that sword to join the Avengers and fucking do good, you know?
Okay.
But the sword is cursed. Surprise, motherfucker. I'm sure you'd imagine from the little fucking
like
creepy ass haunting things it was telling him, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the little movement it has, and there's a curse on it, like just bleeding through it or something like that.
Yeah, cursed. You know, all the best
It's
swords.
wrapped in like seals and stuff like that.
All the best swords are cursed. You know how it is, AJ. And so, yeah, the sword. The thing about the sword is it causes berserker mode, bloodlust. It makes you
More Evangelion references.
Yeah, it brings the bloodlust out of you and your darkest parts out of you. And only a knight of pure heart can wield it without it totally taking over him.
Okay.
And hopefully that is Dane Whitman.
Okay.
Now, shall we talk about the voice telling him he's not ready?
Yeah, someone telling him, like, are you sure you're ready to do that or whatever like that, right?
So
I
before
was like, who's that voice?
So before we talk about, because now we know, if anyone doesn't know, that has been said by the director who that is. But before you heard that, AJ, who did you think it was?
I don't know. Like, I thought, like, huh, is that like Nick Fury? I'm like, no, that doesn't sound like him. That would be his time to come in and start asking questions because he knows shit, right?
That would do. When I walked out of
like him.
When I walked out of the theaters, that's who I thought. I was like, oh, it's Nick Fury. Like, he's getting the new set of Avengers. He's the first new set of Avengers.
Right.
The other thing I thought it was the Watcher. I was thinking maybe that was Jeffrey Wright's Watcher because, you know, he comes out right before people are about to make a bad decision. And maybe he just learned from that show we saw and he wanted to interfere before the fool did it, you know? Like, hey, you sure you want to do that, Whitman? You know? That was my second guess.
Yeah, Cars and I were talking about, too. We're like, Nick Fury? We're like, no, it doesn't sound like Nick Fury. Like, who the fuck is it, you know? We're rocking out, like, who else could it be? Like, we don't know anyone else. This is going to be a new character then, probably, right?
And you're right, AJ. It was a brand new character.
Yeah.
It's a brand new character. Now, it's funny because it's a character we know is casted. So the director only said who the actor was. She didn't say who the character was, but we already know who the actor is playing. And she said, drum roll.
I wish I had a drum
I only got one hand, so.
Yeah.
Who was it, AJ?
Blade?
Mahershala
Oh,
Ali.
I forgot the actor's name, yes.
Yep, Mahershala Ali, who's already been casted as Blade.
Yes.
Which I like this right away because it tells me Blade isn't just a vampire hunter. He's a supernatural dark hunter.
Okay.
Monster hunter, maybe even.
Yeah, so this is what I wanted to ask you, too, since now that we know it's him. And plus, too, is that why they announced who he was so early on?
Because maybe they're going to start seeding him.
No, not because of that, but because Eternals was, like, filmed forever ago, right? That was already planned.
Oh, because he was already in it. You know what? You're probably right, AJ.
So is that why we got Blade so early before even a movie was announced and all that?
Because they said Blade is Phase 5.
Yeah.
And we're like, why are you telling us this now?
Maybe this is why, right?
Yeah, AJ, you're probably right. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was going to ask, so Black Knight, like, who is he? How does he have anything to do with, like, Dark World, underground things like that Blade deals with?
Yeah.
And he does?
Well, you already know his blade's cursed.
Yeah, okay.
So he's directly involved in the black magic world.
Okay.
Ever since the King Arthur days. And he often teams up with Blade to slay supernatural shit. That's a thing. Black Knight and Blade like to kick it.
Do you think Black Knight would be like the kind of villain in Blade, or maybe like one of those side villains in Blade, and then they'll team up at the end to defeat whatever the bigger bad is?
Oh, interesting.
And that's a way we get introduced to Black Knight.
I could see it more that the movie would be focused on Blade being an expert in the dark supernatural world.
Right.
And Kit Harington, Dane Whitman, is trying to learn about the dark supernatural world so he can control the blade.
Okay.
And the reason I think that is because he wants to use the blade to save Cersei. And in the books, the ebony blade can slice the head of a celestial.
Oh, shit.
And once it's at full power, which normally Dane Whitman can't get to that power level. But things happen. I'm not going to say too much more. But I think he might want to master the black arts, the black magic, to understand it better so he can use it to help Cersei.
Right. Okay. I like that.
I could see
didn't
it
think about that. I didn't think about how he's going to help Cersei. I forgot that connection there at the end. But okay, that makes sense.
I'll tell you, the end credit scene, that's the only reason he's trying to pick up that sword, is because he wants to help Cersei.
I didn't know why I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I don't think he would ever want to touch that fucking sword unless it was to save Cersei.
Yeah. Okay, that's cool. I like that. Other question I had too: Has the Black Knight ever been part of the Midnight Suns?
You know what? I don't know.
Or can
nothing?
he be?
Nothing I've ever read has had him part of the Midnight Suns. I will say I think he can be because he fights supernatural shit too. And there is a group in the Marvel Comics called MI6 of all the British characters that fight supernatural assaults.
Okay.
And Black Knight is part of that team with Captain Britain.
Ooh, interesting. Huh.
And now we have Peggy Carter out there.
Maybe, yeah.
And recently, just today, Henry Cavill did an interview saying he would love to be Captain Britain.
Okay.
Henry Cavill, Superman,
Yeah.
saying he's interested in Marvel and he would love to be Captain Britain. And I'm like, could we see Dane Whitman and Henry Cavill and Blade, the three of them all being MI6, maybe not the Midnight Suns?
Okay.
Maybe Agent Carter would join that too from a parallel universe, you know?
Maybe Greg would join.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other thing I want to mention too, the reason this also could fit too is Blade in the comics is British. And Dane Whitman is meeting him in London. So I'm like, it makes a lot of sense that Blade was there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe he was keeping track of that sword. Maybe he had he had crossings with the sword in the past.
Yes. Maybe he's been watching it, trying to see where it's gonna land so he can get it, you know, and he knows who it belongs to. So he wanted to go back into the hands of the family owner before he like told him about it, you know.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was wondering like why this connection, you know? I was like, oh, maybe there's some connection, maybe some Midnight Sun stuff going on. Who knows?
Maybe.
But that's interesting there too. You think? I don't think so. Did you see the Morbius trailer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not excited for that movie, but the trailer looks good.
It looked pretty good.
And you know,
I don't think I was about to say. You think we'll see Black Knight in that? Probably not.
No, but I do think there's a chance we could see Blade in an after credit scene, especially now that we know what we know about Venom. I think there's a strong chance we could see Blade at the end of Morbius.
Which is why he had to be casted early, guys. Come on.
All part of the deal, maybe. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
Spider-Man and Blade have a long connection too. Maybe they want to do that. Who knows? Spider-Man and Blade have hunted vampires together before.
Yeah, I saw the episode of Spider-Man.
Oh, you saw that one?
Yeah.
Nice.
I thought that was dope.
Right. I like how they don't really get along, but they fucking make it work anyway. You know, like.
All right. I think Ari, anything else to discuss?
Unfocused.
All right. I guess not.
It's over! Don't forget to subscribe!